Good afternoon, Big Brother fans. It is Monday, July 15th, 2024. And I was all fired up this afternoon. We had our cast, right? It was actually accidentally leaked a little bit early. So a little bit earlier than normal. We found out who the cast was, at least 16 of the 17 house guests, because there will be a 17th that they're going to add in. And we saw them, 8 men, 8 women. Just leave it at that. I mean, not to split hairs, but let's just say 8 men, 8 women. A fairly diverse group of people. Skewed, I think maybe the oldest group that we've had as far as age, because there's multiple people over 50 in the group and many in the 30s and a few in their 20s. Looked very interesting. I watched a lot of the videos. I was quite excited. I was retweeting. I was happy. I was kind of, getting the groove of it, right? We're getting fired up. And someone messages me privately. I gave them credit. Not that they may even want credit, but they messaged me and said, have you seen this? And they linked to a FAQ page on Paramount's site where Paramount announced, it reads, and I'm not going to quote it because I'm on my phone and I can't look at it, but the gist of it was, starting this year, basically flashback and archives are not going to be available. Now, I realize there are some of you who may not have any idea the purpose of flashbacks and archives, but let me give you a little bit of Big Brother history. So going back to when Big Brother first started. When Big Brother first started, and I can't remember what season the ability to rewind was and do flashback, but going back to the beginning of Big Brother, the live feeds were streaming, right? It was always on, 4 cameras. People were recording it. You could watch things. People would do live feed reporting. You would report the live feeds and transcribe them, because you know what? If you missed something, you couldn't go back and see it unless someone was recording it. And so you depended on these people transcribing these things. And we're going back to the year 2000 at this point. It was not easy to record. Not many people could record. So you didn't have many people recording. You had people watching all the time and writing down what was happening, and you would read those things, right? That's how it worked. I do not remember what season it happened. Now, I'll have to go back and look at my timelines, because I certainly still have the emails from when we were told by Real, we're going to do a thing called flashback. And that means that you can literally plunk in a number. We tested it out with people. You can plunk in a number on the computer and it will go back to that point on the live feeds and start them right there. So you could rewind at any point and see any point of the live feeds that you missed. Okay? It was the way to hold people accountable. You didn't have to worry if someone said, oh, Eddie, is an example from Big Brother 1, called so-and-so a hater. Did he really, or did someone just say that? Because we would have discussions on, I didn't see that. Did you see that? I didn't see that. And there was no real way to prove it unless someone had recorded it, unless multiple people said, I saw it too. But you were still left up to people's judgments on what was said or how it was said. But in the flashback era, up until this year, since then, you could actually go back and find the moment, and at least if it had been on the feeds, you could see it, right? Well, this announcement today saying that the archives and the flashback will no longer be available. Now, understand, for those people that only had their app on their phones, flashing back was really not an option, although you could sometimes scroll back for like 24 hours, but it was not an option for people on the app. I get it. Didn't stop it for the computer. For the computer folks, we could still do it. It was still a thing. It was a bit jinky the last couple of years. It had problems, but you could still do it. And so now it looks like it's gone. Why would you get rid of this? Besides the fact that they had problems maintaining it and having technical issues, but really the consensus by most live feed viewers, most fans out there, is the reason you get rid of it is because when someone does something really stupid, or really, as the word like people like to use, is problematic, when someone says something they shouldn't say, why leave the opportunity for someone to have a record of it that can be replayed for other people to see? So if it gives away as soon as it happens and you cannot rewind to see it, then did it ever happen? They can choose what they decide to share because they're still recording it. Trust me, they're still recording every minute of it. It's just a matter of, is it going to be available to the public? And they're saying no. And how that causes issues is what I just said. There's two things. First of all, it causes issues because people won't be able to confirm something did or didn't happen. So it can go both ways. Someone can accuse someone of doing something that they didn't do, and there's no proof that it didn't happen. And yet they can also do something bad, and they cannot be pointed out to them. And that's the part that I think CBS is worried about. They are worried about the parts where their people get shown for not being as great as they could be. Let's go back to Big Brother Jeff, who said some very questionable things about a certain Hogwarts character back in the day. And it's out there, but CBS would probably prefer that it wasn't out there. Sometimes they're golden children. Sometimes they're people that they want to look a certain way don't look as well when the light is shined on them and you catch all their actions. Look, we all got to take responsibility for things we do and say, and this is a way to cover that up. So I'm really frustrated, mad, upset, unhappy. I was all ready to talk about a cast this afternoon, and I frankly can't tell you. I could talk about him a little bit, but I think maybe I'll do that later tonight. Maybe. I'm getting ready to go to New York to go to the premiere parties for this damn show, and I don't know how to feel. I really don't. I'm really, really thinking that this may be the beginning of the end for Big Brother, because the live feeds are what made it. And granted, this is taking a step back to what it used to be, but I don't know if the kids these days have the patience. I don't know if the kids these days will wait around to, or just to be able to record what's written, if they need the visual stimulus. And frankly, I don't know if I have the patience. I just don't know. We'll have to see what happens. And trust me, the whole point of CBS doing this, again, is to keep those bad incidences from seeing the light of day. The problem is that there are people recording. There are a lot more people recording than there were 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And as I kind of joked with someone on Twitter in a private message, said, would you like to see video of David and Amanda from season 4 of Big Brother? Do you know they were the first ones to christen the head of household room? There's video of it out there. Now, they were undercovers. There's nothing seen. But it was recorded. It was shared. I, at one point way back in the day, put it up on one of my YouTube channels. And again, there's nothing, you can't see a thing. It's literally two people moving under a big, huge comforter, and then suddenly the feed's cut. So you don't even, it's really nothing. But it was kind of like, this was kind of a historic moment to us. The first moment that the head of household room was christened back in Big Brother 4. That video was eventually taken down by YouTube, but I still have a copy out there somewhere. But there are things that have happened. They are recorded. Certainly there were things that happened that weren't recorded back in the day because nobody was recording them. There are certain things, like when Kiara got ticked off at the internet because the internet figured out that she had dated, she was talking about dating a former or the son of the owner of the World Trade Center. Okay, this is where we go to these. She was talking about the fact that she dated this guy who was the owner of the son of the owner of the World Trade Center, and she got mad at the internet and yelled things. None of that was recorded. At least I've never seen the video. But it happened. But is that world-changing? No. But it's kind of like one of those, it'd be cool if we could see that. Those things are gone. But things didn't escape, more recently. The iced tea getting dumped over Jen's head. Was Flashback available then? I don't remember if Flashback was available during Big Brother 8, but I think it might have been. That may be the first season that Flashback was available. Maybe 7. The whole point here is getting rid of it is really a kick in the gut. And I just don't know how to feel. I just don't know. And I'm very frustrated. And this little podcast is not helping anyone. But for those of you that don't understand, this is the thing that helps people report about Big Brother. This is what makes it real. This is the difference between reality TV, Big Brother style, and the rest of the world. As soon as they start covering it up and you can't see it, who's going to watch it? We'll get through this season. We'll make it happen. They're not going to bring it back, trust me. They're not going to say, we changed our mind and we're going to make it available. This was a decision made way up the food chain. Lawyers were probably involved. It just is one more little bit of being restricted on what you can see as far as the live feeds go. So we'll see how it runs. We'll see what workarounds people come up with. Trust me, the Big Brother fandom is a very resilient community, and they will find ways. And this may just be another blip on the timeline of Big Brother. Remember when they stopped Flashback? I hope that's what it is, and I hope people figure it out, and I hope we make them regret this. I don't think we can. And by the way, one other thought. People are going out there saying cancel. And I even say, why have Paramount? I mean, why have Paramount if you can watch the feeds on Pluto TV with a 2-minute delay? Actually, you know what? We do have a way. You watch the feeds on Paramount, and when something happens, you quickly tweet about it, and then everybody runs to Pluto TV to watch when it happens, and then they get their recorders going. We've got a 2-minute buffer, folks, right? Wow, there we go. Solution. Everybody, we got to have people watching on Paramount, and when something bad or questionable happens, everybody fire up your Pluto TV ASAP and hit record, and you can record the bad moments. Problem solved. We figured it out. There you go. With that, I'm going to sign off for now, folks. I'm sorry for this one. I'll do a longer one, maybe talking about the house guest, but at this point, I don't know if I could really add much more else to say, and I just kind of wanted to vent about this whole situation. So thank you to all of you that support me. Speaking of support, that's what I was going to say. Hold on. Before I go off, the patrons. Or the people that support it. Look, if people decide to all start canceling their feeds or not get the live feeds, please support the people that you normally would have supported, because you're not going to run away and stop watching Big Brother. I don't care what you say. You're still going to watch it. You're still going to check it out. And the people that you normally would support by signing up for the live feeds are going to have lost an income stream, right? So figure out a way to support them. So spiffily think of Hamster Watch. She depends on these on the live feed affiliateship. I have it too, but I don't care. Figure out a way to support her if you can. If you don't, she has other ways to do it. Patrons or a Ko-fi thing. I'm sure she has other ways. Buy something from her Etsy store. Just figure out a way to support her. If you want to support me, listen to these podcasts. Share these podcast links with your friends. Get them to listen to it. The more listeners I have, the more little tiny advertising money I make, because there's ads at the end of this. Also, you can be a patron of me. I do have a Patreon site. You can become one. It's patreon.com/bbgossip. All right, so throwing those out there at the end. But again, I'll try to come back later tonight with a thought on the house guests. I'm a tiny bit more optimistic now that I've come across this thought of two sets of people watching on Paramount and people watching on Pluto, or doing both. You can jump back and forth. It would take a little bit of coordination, but if anything really super questionable happens, there's a sure way to get it. Tweet it out as soon as it happens, and then people on the Pluto side can record it if they know how. Okay? With that, I'm done. I'm out of here. Thanks for being supportive of me. Thanks for sharing this with your friends if you do, and have a good rest of your afternoon. I'll probably be back tonight. Take care, everybody. Thanks. Bye-bye.